A Texas man who raped a 2-year-old has walked free thanks to a plea deal in the state of Texas. Now, the man here is Thomas Boden, and apparently it all started when there was an altercation between him and his girlfriend, Brittany Lynn Rosser. Rosser claims that they were driving in a car and he attempted to crash the car and kill both of them, and she managed to get out of that situation safely and call 911. Authorities were called to the scene, and as cops were questioning him, she noticed that there was something wrong with her 2-year-old daughter. So Rosser said that by the time officers showed up at her home, her daughter was screaming, "My butt, my butt." So according to a Facebook post that Rosser had posted, she said, "So I laid her down and opened her diaper to find an enormous amount of blood and a clear vaginal tear. I asked Annabelle what happened, and she said, Tom hurt me with his hand. I ran outside screaming and crying, pushed past several cops, and asked Thomas if he touches my daughter. He didn't say a word, but had a slight grin on his face."
Yeah.
So it gets worse. Apparently, she has 2 daughters, the 2-year-old that was assaulted and also a 4-year-old who witnessed it. So the 4-year-old gave her all the information about what occurred. She told me that Tom held Annabelle down on the floor, holding a shirt over her face while she was screaming, and cut her private area with his hands. Later, I searched the house and found another diaper with tons of bloody wipes in the trash, along with empty beer cans. All was taken into evidence with Thomas's DNA all over it. He never even tried to hide the evidence. Now, the incredible thing is he was charged with sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault of a child, and he accepted a plea deal of 10 years of probation and was ordered not to have contact with the victim as part of the deal. Oh, and also as part of the deal, Boden will not be required to register as a sex offender. Now, when I first read this, I didn't think it was true. When you consider the number of nonviolent drug offenders that are currently in prison serving life sentences without the chance of parole, I did not want to believe that a story like this is true. But it's true. The district attorney decided that this was the best way to handle the situation, not only for Boden, but also for the children, okay? In this case, we were dealing with a child who was 2 years old. Now, this is from the district attorney. At the time of the offense, no adult witnesses, no serious injuries, but serious injuries. When we were looking at our options, my primary concern was for the best interest of the child, including considering what going through the rigors of trial preparation and testimony in front of a jury would be like for a toddler. You have DNA evidence. Why does a toddler have to stand trial, or why does a toddler even have to testify in trial? You have evidence. You have DNA.
So the thing we cover on this show is injustice, right? Because unfortunately, heinous crimes happen all the time. We don't cover those if there is justice. You know, the system works as it should. Because part of what we do as people in the media is be a watchdog of the government. So we get upset when the government does things wrong, right? So if they had pursued this case with great vigor and put the guy away, well, okay, heinous crimes happening, there was punishment, and good. Okay, the good that there was punishment, there's no reason, that's not a big news story. But when you have a situation like this, and we have kids in this country who get drunk and who, you know, decide to urinate in public, they'll get put on the sex offender list, okay? So you do anything that involves your genitalia in any way, shape, or form, if anyone has ever seen it, you're gonna get put on a sex offender list. There'll be prosecutors across the country that will, you know, come after you full force. This guy does this to a 2-year-old. They've got DNA evidence. Now, I'm not disputing that he thinks it would be tough on the kids, right? And that it would be tough to prove because they're 2 and 4 years old. The defense can come out and say, it's a 2-year-old. You can't trust what a 2-year-old says. It's very hard to understand what a 2-year-old says. You might not be able to say anything. Are you going to be able to trust a 4-year-old? I understand that rationale. But let's keep it real. Part of it was, it's going to be tough. No, I don't want to deal with the 2-year-old and the 4-year-old testimony. I don't want to go through this hassle. Let's just go. Let's plea, let's plea, let's plea, let's plea. So we'll throw the hammer at people. We'll throw the book at people that don't deserve it. Who cares? Because we have the ability to. And a guy who most richly deserves it, having everything thrown at him, we're going to just plea it out. And he's going to get probation, not even go on a sex offender list. Because it'd be a hassle.
I mean, we criticize the way India deals with rape and how it refuses to prosecute people who are accused of rape, right? Even if they have hardcore evidence right in front of them. What's happening in the United States? I mean, this story is very, very similar to what we cover in India. You have a guy who raped a 2-year-old. They have evidence, and they refuse to use that evidence to go after him. They give him a plea deal of 10 years of probation, no jail time, no sex offender registry. Not only is this an injustice to that 2-year-old and the girl's family, this is an injustice to all the other people out there, all the other kids out there that are likely to get raped by this person because he didn't actually suffer the consequences of what he did. It's disgusting. And also, I should note, it's not just the bloody diaper that could be used as evidence or the bloody wipes that could be used as evidence. She took her daughter to the doctor and they confirmed that she had been sexually assaulted. How much evidence do you need to prosecute him? Really, it's that difficult to find him guilty? I guarantee you they would have found him guilty. It would have been the easiest case. And the fact that these prosecutors were so willing to do this plea deal makes me question what their true intentions are. They didn't even notify the family before they gave him the plea deal, by the way.
Probation, that's it. No jail time. All the different people who get thrown in jail for crazy stuff in this country, this guy's going to get no jail time. Makes your blood boil, man.